We're still trying to get stuff moved in, and we want to take a break so we can make another video. This one is kind of cool, and we've been really trying to get it done. It's a collab between myself and my dad. Basically, we're going to turn this piece of wood into this pen. So here we are, we're at my dad's shop, and Christmas is coming, so he decided to show me how to make the Snowman Pen. It's a slimline or a comfort pen with the fatter center band, and yeah, we're just gonna start turning it. He's gonna show me how to do it, so let's get to it.
Your blank is cut to a slimline length. Trim your ends however you do that, and mount it on the lathe, and show you what we do next. For the top side, where the top of the snowman is, I don't know what it is. I've got this large bushing. I don't know where it came from, but it works. You can use any bushing up here that you want, just something large, because you don't turn it small anyway. You don't turn this down real small anyway. Your comfort or your large center band ring to the bottom part of your snowman. Bring up your tail stop. I measure the bottom of the snowman. I measure up 1 3/16 of an inch. Put a little mark. I've just found that gives me the larger portion on the bottom and a smaller part on top for his head. And it just gives me the proportions and acts as a good guide. So then we'll put the mark on there so we can see it. And we're ready to start turning. I'm going to start with a diamond tool. And I'm going to start by making a groove for the waist of the snowman here, right on this mark.
Now see, that's the difference between a professional and an amateur. See how fast he's turning that?
Yeah.
It would take me twice as long.
The top part, you don't have to go clear to the bushing, and we'll show you why in a little bit. And we'll sand it out a little bit to smooth it down. Next, I'm going to wipe it with denatured alcohol just to clean any dust or oil off of it. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to put a super fast, easy finish on this. I'm going to use CA. This is Bob Smith brand. It's private labeled by Hobbytown. But I use this because I'm out of the other, and this is what I have. So I'm going to slow the lathe down again to about 600 because I don't like CA being slung all over the place. I'm going to cover my finger because this stuff is super thin and it will run right through this towel. Don't ask me how I know that.
The accelerator smells awesome, but the glue is caustic. Wow.
Okay, I'm going to do it again. And I'm pressing pretty hard to smooth this out.
Now the reason he pressed hard that time to smooth it out is so he doesn't have to, and if I'm correct, so you don't have to micro mesh it. Yeah. And polish it out.
Right.
It takes the lines out for you.
That was 2 coats of thin CA. I'm going to spray it again because that's not quite dry. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I have these white buffing pads. Bring it back up to about 1200. And I'm going to press that on there. And that just takes any little rough surfaces off. And it still feels a little bit rough. I'm going to back up a step. I'm going to use a sanding pad. This is 1200 to 1500 grit. I'm just going to do real quick, because I've only got 2 coats of CA on this, right. So I don't want to sand too much. So I'm just going to hit it and hit it.
And then buff it.
And come back with this.
All right. That looks just like a white version of a green pad.
It is. It is. Same thing.
Okay.
And now you can feel that, and that feels pretty good. And if you want to do a little polish on that, you can do a little bit of plastic polish and really buff it up.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and do that just real quick. Meguiar's Plastex is what I use. Works great for me. And there's your finished snowman body.
Quick, fast, ready to go.
Okay, I'm going to change our setup a little bit, and I'll show you how we make the hats. We're going to start with a square block, and this is, I don't know, how long is it? 6, 7 inches long, something like that. It doesn't really matter. A little longer, you get a couple more hats out of it, that's all. Yeah. And we're going to probably get about 6 hats out of this.
So for a skew, you put the tool rest higher?
Well, you just put it at an angle to where you can it's whatever you prefer. and how you hold your tool. You can put it lower, but you're going to have to hold your tool handle lower.
Right.
So this is a roughing gouge, and I'm going to use that to rough this out to get a round form out of it. So we're going to turn on our dust collector and hopefully catch some of this stuff. About 2200 RPM. Caught some of it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lay out for the hats. And this probably won't make a lot of sense right now, but when I start turning it, it will make sense. So what I'm going to start with is just a mark. I want to stay away from my spur center.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'm going to go 1/8 of an inch or just a little over 1/8 of an inch. That's going to be the brim of my hat. And then I'm going to go 1/2 an inch. That's going to be the top part of my hat. Hand me one of those hats over. It doesn't matter which one, just any one. Okay? So if you look at that, you can see there's the brim of my hat, and this is the top of the hat. Now I need a little space in here,
right,
so I can cut these apart. So I'm going to leave a little 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little heavier for a space. Then I'm going to go 1/2 an inch for the top of the hat, and then another 1/8 of an inch or so for the brim. And then I'm going to leave another little space in between. I'm going to slow the lathe down and see if I can replicate these marks. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to use a parting tool, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to cut all these dead spaces out and then start shaping these hats. With this parting tool, I've found and I've read and seen other videos, when you start with this parting tool, you kind of go straight in. If you start up here and ride the bevel, you'll get tear out on this rim. But if you go straight in, you don't get that tear out because it cuts it. And then you can bring the angle up and do more of a peel cut. See how I get that tear out there when I come up there?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do now is I'm going to take the little hat, we've separated them, cut them apart. You got a little burrs on the top, you got little burrs on the bottom, so we're going to clean that up. But first, I'm going to drill a 1/4 inch hole to match a 1/4 inch dowel right center in the bottom of the hat. You don't want to go all the way through, just a little hole. Let me do one more. That does two things. That lets me put a 1/4 inch dowel in there, because I'm going to put these on a belt sander and I'm going to clean these little nubs off. And then you can also put it in a dowel to paint it if you want. So when you paint it, you can paint it black. I use a black stain that works very well. But however you want to do that, you can do that. So now we'll go to the belt sander and I'll show you what I do with these hats. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean the top up. And then I'm going to scuff and do derby.
That's cool.
Another thing I do is take the Snowman.
Oh yeah.
I'm just going to put it on the belt sander at an angle. And just sand that top flat at an angle when you want the hat. So when you glue that hat on, it kind of sets at an angle and gives him a little more character. And that's the The anatomy of a snowman.
Pretty cool, right? Little snowman with a little hat, bottom part. He's got his own little scarf and everything else. He showed me how to do it, so I'm gonna try to do it. No, I'm not gonna try to do it, I'm gonna do it. This is the fabric we're gonna use for the scarf. We haven't picked which one yet. I'll let Ellie do that, she's the artsy one. I just make the pens. So the first thing I wanna do is get my lengths because it actually is a working pen. It does work, and you can write with it if you want to. So I have to get this piece of wood into the sections that I need to make the pen out of. Let's go over to the bandsaw. The first thing we need to do over here at the bandsaw is cut our pieces for our tubes. Now, for this pen kit, it's just a my dad used a Slimline, I have a Nexus. They're basically the same kit. The difference is, this is the beauty ring of the pen. This is the beauty ring that comes with the Slimline. This is the beauty ring that comes with the Nexus. As you can see, the Nexus one is bigger. So you can use a Slimline kit, you just need to order the fatter beauty ring, the bigger beauty ring like this one. I'm using the Nexus, I already have these kits, so they have the bigger beauty ring, so we're good to go. We're gonna use this blank jig to cut my blanks. There is a schematic for making one of these on IAP website. I'll share the link down below in the description. Basically, I can just take my tube, I set it right here, take the jig stick, put it there, put my blank up to it, and then I will cut this, and the blank will be the length I need for my tube. So let's do that, and I'll do 2 cuts. One for the top, one for the bottom. Glasses. Now I have my top and bottom blanks to go for the pen, and then I can use this cutoff section to make the hat. So the next step is I gotta find my centers, go to the drill press. For my centers, real easy, just something that has a nice good straight edge on it. Corner to corner, nothing real fancy about doing it corner to corner. And right there where the X meets, that's my center. Then I just like to take an awl and a hammer and make a little indentation at the center. 1950s hammer right there, Grandpa's hammer. Just something to help the drill bit guide to. That's all it's for. Take my blank, put it in there, push down a little bit, tighten it up so it doesn't move. And this is a 7mm drill bit, and that's the same size I need for my tubes. Here we go. Ready? Take it nice and easy. We're gonna start gluing our tubes in now into our blanks. And the first thing we need to do is sand these up and make them rough so that the glue has something to adhere to. Gives it like little channels and grooves. It just makes for a better adhesion. There's that one. This is something I don't normally use. I normally use an epoxy and let it sit overnight. A lot of people say, well, why don't you try CA glue? So we're trying some Maxi-Cure from Hobbytown. It's extra thick. Takes 10 to 25 seconds to dry. It says I'm going to give it about 10 minutes. And I'm just going to coat it really well, and we're going to see if it works. While those are drying, I'm going to take this other piece so I can make the hat. I'm going to turn it around, and I've already found the center on both ends. For this, I'm going to use a dead center and a live center. This is the dead center. It goes here. It does not spin on its own. And this is the live center. This one goes over here, and it has a point, and it's basically like the mandrel saver that I have that spins on its own, except for this one has a point, not a hole. Oh, gotta loosen that up. There we go. So I'm gonna find the center there, put that one on there, take this one over here, boom, and lock this down, get that nice and tight. Lock that down, and my goal is to make this round, so that's what we get to do right now. So this one has a bowler style cap. I'm going to make a top hat for ours. So I just need to make this rim and then figure out how long I make the top, probably an inch. I don't know, we'll see. And yeah, it's pretty simple. Just turn it around. Just turn it around. So I'm just going to make a pencil mark where I want the cuts to go. That'll be the bottom of my hat. There's the brim. That'll be the top. That good? We'll make it taller.
I think it's going to be adorable. The best snowman ever.
We're going to go ahead and turn the top blank first, the snowman. The Nexus bushings have 3 different sizes. This is for the very tip. This is for the end cap. It's a little bit bigger. Let me get that one back out. That's for the end cap. And then this one is for the center beauty ring. So I'm going to be using these 2 since I'm doing the snowman. So that'll be the, nope, get that out of the way. This will be the top of the snowman. This will be the blank. Oh, guess I need to clean that out first. Get glue inside your tube. Just take a X-Acto knife. Clean that out. There you go. Then the bottom of the snowman and a little spacer. Slide that over. Tighten her up. And first thing we're going to do is make it round. Make it round. Now that I have it round, I'm going to square off the ends with the blank. To do that, I need something else attached to this. Get rid of my saver. Pull these off. Put that back on there. Take out my pen mandrel. This is my chuck with an offset jig. That sucks. Backer plate with Velcro and sandpaper. And then a punch pin. Put that right in here. Now this makes the tube perpendicular to the sanding pad, and I just sand down till I can get my tube and see shiny. So we turn the lathe back on. Turn it down to about 1800. No, all right, 1600, that'll work. Get close, lock that down, and start sanding. Shiny.
What does shiny mean?
Means you hit the end of the tube and you're done. Don't sand it anymore. Or you'll make your blank too short, and if your blank's too short, your pen won't work right. Shiny. You want a fat snowman, skinny snowman?
Fat snowman.
She wants a fat snowman. So let's figure out where his center is going to be. That's going to be body, that's going to be head. Let's do a little bit of sanding with some 180. 420 or 320. One more with some 550. Clean them off with some denatured alcohol. Get rid of all the dust. You leave dust in there when you're using light colors like this. The dust, when you put CA glue on, the dust will actually turn white. And you have white flecks in it. Although that might be okay for this, it's a snowman. No? She says no. Shiny. Don't sand your bushings.
Good.
Some 180 grit. 320. 500. Some denatured alcohol. Got them both together. Let's get some CA glue on them and see what we can do. Nice, quick, and easy. Fun little projects you can do. Little stocking stuffers. Something you can do in an afternoon. Maybe teach your kids how to do it. All we got to do now is paint it, put a scarf on it, glue the hat on, and we are done. I think Ellie already painted the hat for me.
You need it?
We need to figure out where we're going to go to paint. I guess I can do it right here.
I can paint it.
You going to paint it?
Yeah.
Ellie's going to paint the snowman. Look at that. Oh, while she's doing that, I guess I can press the tip in. This, we'll use these nifty little pieces I made. And there. For this one, all we need is, we don't need the end cap. We don't need the clip. All we need is the transmission and the tip. Always do your tip first. Goes right there. And the transmission goes to that line right there. Set it there. These two pieces are just pine, something soft, so it doesn't mar things up. Slides in. Anyway, done. The cartridge goes in here. Ta-da! Now I just need to glue the hat on. Just a little bit. How's it look?
Looking good. Looking like a fat little snowman. PHAT.
PHAT. Pretty hot and tempting. Hey, bud. It's numbers time. Dad's pen, our pen. You can see they're a little different. I like ours better. It's big and fat. Let's look at the numbers. For time and materials, we spent about $8.50. For tools and supplies, $4. That's a total cost of $12.50. Let's stick with the holiday theme. You could take these to your local holiday craft fair and sell them for about $25. They're going to sell like crazy. Another idea, you could give them as gifts at the office or stocking stuffers for your family. You could even bring the family into it and show the kids or the grandkids how to make them. Thanks for watching. We hope you learned something and maybe you found a new favorite to throw in your pen toolkit. We want to throw out a special thanks to Dad for taking the time to show us how to make this great gift idea. We love you, Dad.
We love you.
Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so you'll be notified when our new videos come out. We'll see you next week.